Outcast among giants, Jake Murphy tried to look brave as he floated to the main docking bay of Galactic Council Station Omega 7, surrounded by creatures that looked like the worst nightmares from his childhood stories. He was barely average. Height by human standards, which meant he was nearly a head shorter than most of the aliens around him, and his shoulders felt tight inside the stiff diplomatic blazer. A floating holographic banner welcomed him, "Welcome human delegate," in 20 languages, but Jake read it as a warning. He was the only human here. His arrival did not go unnoticed. Ah, the human arrives, boomed Ambassador Vixer, the purple-scaled, gold-draped lizard who seemed to take up half the receiving hall. Vexer's eyes moved up and down, lingering on Jake's slim build with a smirk. Such a small representative. Is Earth short on giants? Jake forced a crooked grin. Sorry, all our giants were busy unclogging the galactic toilets. Real work. That got a few surprised snorts from the minor functionaries behind Vexer, but most aliens watched with cold amusement. The Galactic Council chamber itself was a dizzying spectacle. Hundreds of delegate pods floated in a circle around a central platform, glowing with shifting colors. Jake's pod, the smallest by far, zipped him to the center under the full glare of every watching eye. He tried not to shrink as the council chair Counselor Zix's. An insectoid so thin he looked like a walking abacus began. The council will now determine if humanity is worthy of full membership or if probation must continue. Ambassador Vixer's deep voice echoed through the hall. Perhaps we test the human with a trial. Our laws favor strength and cunning, not accidental heroics. He looked at Jake. Are you prepared for our ancient tradition? A test in the arena? Jake blinked. You're serious? Trial by combat. This is how you do space diplomacy. Genre? Cager. A reptilian mountain in battle armor rumbled. The arena decides all disputes. Only the worthy lead the strong. Jake looked around. His mind reeled at the thought of endless committee reviews and endless forms if he refused. Well, dying quickly sounds better than paperwork hell. I'll take your cage match. A ripple of laughter rolled through the council. Jake forced himself not to tremble as the platform lowered him toward the arena. He caught glimpses of claws, scales, armor, and thousands of alien faces. Above it all, a holographic display glowed. Arena of Final Judgment. His opponent was announced. Not a warrior, not a politician, but Go the Destroyer, a living legend. The arena doors groaned open. Go emerged, an apex predator taller than any bear, its obsidian black fur shining, its claws the size of swords. The air changed. Even the guards stepped back. Jake swallowed hard. The beast's yellow eyes locked on his. But instead of charging, Go paused watchful, curious. Jake didn't run. He just stared back, his heart racing, hoping his courage wouldn't run out before the beast made up its mind. The predator's test arena was a hush of anticipation. Jake's heart thundered as Go stalked forward, massive paws silent on the sand. Every eye in the arena, every camera was fixed on this impossible match. A tiny human against the nightmare of the galaxy.geo. You sniffed the air, circling Jake. Saliva dripped from fangs as long as Jake's forearm. The crowd wanted blood. Jake wanted a miracle. He did the only thing he could think of. He crouched low, showing open palms, and mimicked Go's breathing, a trick he'd learned calming wild dogs on the Martian frontier. He locked eyes with the predator, forcing himself to stay steady. Go tilted its huge head, nose twitching. Jake risked a joke, voice barely above a whisper. You're not going to eat me, are you? Bad for digestion. Humans are mostly caffeine and stress. Go huffed, and Jake felt something strange, a flicker of intelligence behind the beast's eyes. The massive creature lowered itself to the sand, matching Jake's posture. The arena began to murmur. A harsh beep echoed overhead. A hidden pain collar around Go's neck flashed with red light. Go roared in agony, forced into a frenzy by the council's control device. The crowd roared too, bloodthirsty. Go lunged at Jake, claws tearing gouges in the sand. Jake dove aside, rolling up to see the collar sparking. Instead of fighting back, he grabbed a broken piece of spear from the sand and smashed it into the control box attached to the collar, breaking it loose. The pain stopped. Ghost staggered back, shaking its massive head. Instead of rage, Jake saw confusion and gratitude. Jake straightened, arms spread wide, waiting for the final blow. But Go stepped between Jake and the nearest council drone. It bared its fangs not at Jake, but at the guards above. The predator let out a guttural sound that echoed across the arena, a word in its own language. Translator sputtered, then produced the word, brother. A gasp rippled through the spectators. The destroyer of worlds had spared the human. The apex predator called the smallest delegate brother. The breaking of chains, the council delegates erupted in chaos. Vexer shouted orders. Drones dropped from the ceiling, weapons trained on the sand. The rules were changing fast. Jake and Go stood together, backs to the wall as laser nets buzzed through the air. Go growled and swatted a drone from the sky, smashing it like a toy. Jake scanned the arena shields flickered over the exits. No way out. He ran to a maintenance hatch, yanked out a cable, and jammed it into the main force field controls. Sparks flew, and the shield flickered. A council guard leapt onto the sand, aiming a blaster at Jake. Go leaped with terrifying speed, knocking the guard aside with a swipe. Jake ducked and rolled. Grabbing the guard's dropped blaster. Go pressed its massive side against Jake, shielding him from more incoming fire. In that moment, Jake remembered all the times he'd been the smallest, weakest, most overlooked, surviving only by being clever. By thinking around problems instead of through them. A memory flashed. Jake as a kid, bullied on Earth, making friends. With a stray dog by feeding it part of his lunch, showing he wasn't a threat. He had never been the strongest. He had always found a way to connect, to turn fear into trust out above. The council panicked as Go ripped off the remains of the pain. Collar. Jake used the blaster to blast open an access door. Go growled something. Jake's earpiece translated a single word. Free. Together, they pushed into the tunnels beneath the arena, sirens blaring behind them. Rebellion in the arena chaos spread. News swept through the station. The human and the beast had broken free, defying the council and its traditions. Other arena prisoners, inspired by the sight, broke their own chains and joined the escape. Some guards switched sides, sick of the council's cruelty. Jake and Go led the way, dodging patrols and drones. Jake hacked security terminals, opening doors and disabling traps. Go smashed barricades, clearing the way for smaller, weaker aliens who had never dreamed of freedom. The council tried to lock down the arena, but Jake rerouted emergency protocols, sealing the council chambers instead. He activated the main broadcast system. On every screen across Omega 7, Jake appeared, bloodied, determined, standing next to the galaxy's most feared predator. We don't have to play by the rules anymore. The arena ends now. Stand together. Outcasts and monsters, let's build something better. Go bellowed beside him, voice shaking the station. Other oppressed species began to chant. Rising up in the chaos. Jake led the charge through the main gates. Go shielded him, knocking aside the last guards. Together, human and predator reached the council floor facing the ruling delegates, who now trembled in fear. Family beyond blood, the aftermath shook the galaxy. The council, terrified of a full rebellion, granted humanity full membership and announced sweeping reforms. News of Jake and Go's alliance spread faster than any official decree. Formerly oppressed species found hope in their story. Jake, still small and always underestimated, now stood with Go at his side in the council chamber. Offers of leadership poured in, but Jake refused power. Instead, he demanded a new council. A council where every voice, even the smallest or strangest, had a seat. Go became a symbol of freedom, not fear. He and Jake traveled to worlds still suffering under old laws, freeing more monsters and making allies out of outcasts. In the end, the council had to admit the bravest thing in the galaxy was not brute strength or endless rules, but the courage to trust, to risk kindness, and to stand together when everyone else said it was impossible. The legend of the smallest human and the apex predator would be told for centuries. In every version, the lesson was clear. True family isn't about blood, or power, or species. It's about respect, loyalty, and the refusal to accept a world built on fear. And somewhere out among the stars, Jake and Go kept moving forward together as brothers,